Hello everybody, welcome back to the range. Tom here, and today we're doing this Volkswagen Kafer Racer. One of my favorite castings done by Hot Wheels. It's really cool. I did a Gasland style about it a while back, so I wanted to try something a little bit new. So why don't we go ahead and let's get started. Like I said a few minutes ago, I really love this casting. One of my favorite ones to use. I think it's really cool. I did a Herbie. I did a Gaslands, like I said. And, I was kind of up in the air of what I wanted to do with this. Because I had a bunch of ideas. I was going to make it a six-wheeled vehicle. I was going to probably make it a flatbed. And, I had so many different ideas. But, I started thinking, started going through some of my old parts just laying around, my halves and halves of one car, halves of another car, and, you'll see later on what I end up doing. You know, I wanted to make sure I got pretty much what I wanted from it, and that was just the front half of the entire car. I'm talking about the base, interior portion of it, whole 9 yards. So I took my time and kind of speeded it up in the video, but I took my time, cut it in half almost. And, I was really liking how everything was going with it because everything was flowing nice, everything was cutting nice. I was kind of doing what I could to, get everything straight because, I kind of winged it in the first portion of it, and then I decided to actually know what I was going to do with it. Because at this point, I just knew I was going to cut the front end off. I didn't know what I was going to do on the back half. I was getting suggestions from some other guys I know, paint color and stuff like that. And you actually get to see some of the paint I'm going to be doing with this. Only one color of it, though. So, well, two. I did my primer color, too. But, that's beside the point. But I'm trying to file it down, make it all flat, make it even. I did a lot of filing, and because apparently it didn't cut evenly on one side, so I kind of had to file it down a little bit. But this was one of my actual favorite builds starting up. I know it's only like my fourth video being back doing this, but this one actually turned out to be pretty cool when I got done with it. I was really happy with the way this turned out. And, I don't know what it is. Just lately, I've been kind of on a little certain vehicle type of trip. Like I said, I was wanting to make a six-wheel, and I was wanting to make a flatbed or something like that. So I've been kind of, on some kind of trip. Like certain type of casting, and it is a full-blown custom. Like, got some wheels from Sam Ed Wheels. I couldn't find any drag style wheels with the ones I got, but the wheels that I chose for it actually looked really cool. I was talking to some guys on Instagram about some color ideas. Pretty much the majority of vote was a two-tone color, and pretty much it was the same color. Each person I was talking to was pretty much saying the same color, so I want some pearl colors. And at first I was having a little problems with my airbrush, and it turns out it just had a really bad clog in it. It started working just fine afterwards, so I didn't have no issues there. So I'm sanding everything down, trying to even out the front half of the interior. Got it all stripped down, got it kind of cleaned up a little bit with a wire brush. The wheels you see up in the top left there are not the ones I'm gonna be using, but I took some styrene and I cut it into a little bit of a square to kind of fit on the back of this because I was gonna close it off. Had to go with some thick styrene to make it match what I wanted to use. So, I ended up kind of doing some modifications to it. Didn't stay as squares, don't worry. you know, like I said, I love these Kafer Racers. I plan on doing some other builds. I want to do a dragster style build if I can find some more of these castings. I want to eventually do a flatbed, six-wheeled. Just kind of have a few of these Kafers around. And who knows, I might use the back half on something. I don't know yet. I'm still kind of got to find something that will look good. So I had to go through a lot of back half parts of what I was wanting to do with this. And most of the time when somebody does something like this, they usually go a certain way. It's either, it varies. I guess it just depends on who's building it. But the way I went with it, man, I really was going through so many different back halves of different castings of what I thought. And I wanted to find something that looked good, that kind of matched up with it. And luckily enough, it didn't take me very long to find what I was looking for. And yeah, it took me a couple of days to do this, just because I didn't know where I was going to go with it. Didn't have to really sand it down too much of the base part because it was pretty flat. So, excuse me, it's kind of like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around there. So I'm kind of a little bit tired. I've been having some rough nights, so I thought about getting this video going and getting it put up before I was done. You see me cutting it up because I'm trying to pretty much make it the same shape as the front half of this racer and smoothing it out. As you see here, I kind of got it smoothed out. I got this 69 Chevy pickup truck bed, and I just really liked how it looked with everything kind of flowed together. And I had to do some filing and some certain things to mod it up. And like I said, I wanted to kind of get it to where it lined up, and I had to use the base to see where that was going to be, because I had to connect the two bases together to get it to fit right. And I like, once the paint's done and everything, man, this thing turned out amazing. I didn't have to use no JB weld, and I thought I was going to have to at first, but apparently the back half was actually flat enough for me to attach it to the front portion of this. And once everything was dry and once everything looked good, I made sure I pressed it flat on the bench to get it to where it was even. And I really didn't have to take it apart, readjust it or anything like that, because the way I had it set up, it looked great. Everything lined up, even the base lined up really nice. And luckily enough, during the process of this, I didn't really have to worry about it breaking apart because I didn't have that issue. But all in all, I'm trying to get back into the project. And, I'm trying to do stuff I haven't done before. And this is something I haven't done before. I have not turned a Kafer Racer into a pickup truck. And I'm kind of glad I went this route. Because like I said, I didn't know where I was going with it at first. But I had to add a little piece of square styrene to kind of match up with that little bit of a gap there. To match up with the back half of it, so it lined up with the base of it, and made sure everything, looked good. Even did some wheel testing after all the glue and stuff was dry, because this one is a roller. It actually rolls really nice and smooth, and it's actually turned out to be one of my favorite ones that I've done so far. And it's been a while since I've done them, and eventually I'm going to try to make something out of scratch again. It's just right now I'm just kind of taking it easy, trying to get some ideas of what I want to build straight out of scratch. Eventually I'm going to build a tow truck. Eventually I'm going to do a dragster style. I'm going to do a muscle car with some big old slicks on it or something. I don't know yet. It's still kind of early for me to decide what exactly I'm going to do. But, once, I was kind of playing around with some ideas, playing around with some paint jobs. I ended up putting a few decals on it, just to kind of, make it stand out more. And the way it looks, it stands out good. Same size tires on front and back, but the way the 69 pickups is, the back end kind of is raised a little bit, so it actually made it look a lot cooler once everything was said and done on it, and you'll see that here in a few minutes. And, it was a fun build. It really was. I was really happy with it, trying to get everything lined up. As you see here, those are wheels, and it rolls just fine. And, I ended up having to kind of narrow down the back wheels a little bit. Had to cut the axle on it. You see the nice little stance it's got. It's just got this wicked looking stance on it. And I think that's kind of what I like most about it. And here's what I started off with. After I primered it, I went with a wicked pearl red. And once the clear coat's on it, you'll see what I mean. It just kind of, it really pops. The color really pops with the clear coat. I said earlier I'm going to be doing a two-toned. And, I'm masking off what I want to stay red. But the thing was, I don't know what it was. After the paint dried, nothing was peeling off and stuff. I still had some spots I guess I missed. So I had to do some hand touch-up on some of the areas. Glad I did, because it made it look so much better. Taping took a little bit, but I got it figured out. And I know it's been a while since you guys see me actually tape off customs that I built. And I'm using this piece of round styrene to kind of help press in some of the areas. For some reason, my tape wasn't really sticking well, so I might have to get some new tape, probably some fresh tape, so I know it'll stick better. But for some reason, the tape was not sticking well, and I couldn't figure out why. And I still can't figure out why. Probably because it sat so long. It sat for over 3 months not being used, so it probably lost some of its stickiness. But that's okay. It don't bother me none there. Took me a little bit to tape, because I had to make sure it got to where I needed to go. And like I said, after I pulled the tape off, found some spots that I had to go back over, do some hand touching. And sometimes the pearl paint that I was using is a little harder to actually do some detail painting, like with a hand brush and stuff. But it actually turned out in the long run. So I was really not just happy with the entire thing, but the actual paint and stuff too. So I was really happy with everything. I ended up painting the inside of the bed. As you see here, the cab's going to be red. The hood portion, the front hood, well, in a Volkswagen's case, it's the trunk, or the deck lid, or whatever they want to call it. And I got all that masked off. And the hardest part was trying to get the tape to fit in the grooves in the pickup truck portion of it, the bed of it. Because, it was just, I don't know, it just was not wanting to stick right. So why don't we go ahead and check out what we started off with. Nice Kafer Racer. Great custom coming up. I love the body style of this. I really like what I ended up taking this and making it into. And I hope you guys enjoy watching this video as I enjoyed making this video. So, without further ado, why don't we go ahead and check out the final results.
I'm taking it up higher. I'm taking it up higher. I'm taking it up a mountain. It's time to jump. My eyes got flickering flames. Up to the sky, make it rain. Breaking the frames, breaking the chains. Ain't nobody holding the reins. Turning it on, trigger the bomb. I got the world in my palm. Staying calm in the storm. Where